Hi everyone, welcome to this week's video. It is time for a project pan update. I love doing these and seeing and sharing all the progress I've made on the items that I'm working through. I can't believe that there's only 2 months left in the year, a little less than 2 months, and I'm excited to finish strong. So just for a little background, I choose 5 items from my makeup collection to be working on at a time. Once I finish something, I roll it out and I roll something else in. And it doesn't have to be the same type of product. So if I finish up a lipstick, I don't have to roll in another lipstick. I can roll in whatever I feel like. And I have been basing my project pan off of a video I made at the beginning of the year of my planning to pan. So I had gone through my collection, made a list of a bunch of the items that I would ideally like to try and use up in 2024. I feel like I've made really good progress. Today we have an exciting update. I have 2 empties, so I'm going to be rolling 2 new things in, and then I wanted to touch base on what is left from that list. So if you want to see the progress I've made on my 2024 project pan in the last month, then just keep watching. Alright, so the first item I'm going to update on is the primer I've been using, and it's just this mini of the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer with the niacinamide, so it's the little pink one. And I believe when I rolled it in last month, I was about at the F. So I've used, it's slower going than you would think for it being a mini, but honestly, I feel like a little goes a long way, and this is truly gripping and sticky. And I really only put primer in the areas where I feel like my makeup tends to rub off. So I put like a little bit here, basically my T-zone, a little bit like on the sides of my nose, and then a little bit on my chin. So I'm really not using a ton, but I am making progress. And even though I only used up 1 letter's worth in the last month, I mean, I tell myself the bottle does get slightly narrow as we go down. We do have 2 months left, so I do think there is still a possibility of fully using this up by the end of December. The next item is this skinny lipstick, but I actually use it as a cream blush, and it is one of the L'Oreal Lilacers, and it is in the shade 209 Chocolat. And I don't even know if they still make these anywhere, but I remember they did a line of like chocolates and neutrals. But I have just been mostly using this as a cream blush. So I definitely feel like I have been making progress on this. And since it's a skinny lipstick, it does kind of, you know, run down a little faster because there's less to go through. So what I typically do, because I do still use this on my lips, I don't want to ever like directly put this on my face because of sanitary reasons. Not that it really matters that much, I guess. I could wipe it off. But usually what I do, I've said this a million times before, I just like rub a little bit on the back of my hand and kind of make sure that it's a little softer, and then I use my cream blush brush and pick it up that way and then put it on my cheeks. And it seems to kind of disperse it better, help it blend in a little more seamlessly. But I do think it works really well as a cream blush. It's just this nice like cooler toned pink, which is especially nice for this time of year. And as I said, I do occasionally still use it as a lipstick as well. It's just not my favorite lipstick shade on me, so I usually just do a little bit in the center of my lips and then cover it with a gloss. But I'm excited for the progress that I'm making on this. This is definitely one of the older products in my collection, and I'm ready to get it out, but I'm glad that I was able to find a way to use it as a cheek product since I don't really love it as a lip product. The actual lip product that I'm working my way through is my Makeup Forever Aqua Lip Liner in 3C. Definitely getting shorter, and I think last time we were down to the end of the word makeup, so we were like at the P, and so now we're at the E in ever. So I don't know how far down I'm gonna be able to sharpen this and keep using it, but I kind of tell myself once I get to the point where the lid like won't cover it anymore, like I probably won't be able to sharpen it. But there's still a lot of life left in this, and I don't think I'll be using this up by the end of the year because that's just still a lot of pencil to use up in 2 months, and I literally only use it as a lip liner. But I am glad that I'm getting use out of it. It's a really great everyday neutral color. So I enjoy using it every day, and it goes with literally like any lip combo that I'm using right now. So glad that I'm making progress on that and kind of staying consistent with making it through about a letter or 2 every month in the little logo. So now for the 2 empty products. One of them I was expecting to be empty, and the other one was a little bit surprising. So the first is my NARS Mini Bronzer, the Laguna Bronzer. totally used it up. I had repressed this recently, and usually once I repress something, it goes a lot faster. You know, you do tend to lose a little bit of product volume when you repress. There's just always going to be a little bit of loss. But also once I repress it, it is such a thinner layer once you've pressed it in there that it then just, you know, it just goes quickly. It picks up more on the brush and just is a thinner layer to get through. So I'm excited to have used up a powder a powder bronzer. Even though it's a mini, it still is just progress, and I like kind of clearing out my collection of older things, enjoying them while I had them and actually using them up, and then kind of moving on to other things. So I did really enjoy this bronzer. I don't know if I would spend money purchasing it again because I believe I got this as like a birthday gift from Ulta one year. So if this was ever like a point perk or the mini was part of, you know, an Ulta 21 Days of Beauty sale and this was like $10 or something, like I would purchase it then, but I don't think I will want to go out of my way to purchase the full size of this anytime soon. But I did enjoy it and I think it was a good shade for my skin tone. This is the product that was slightly surprising to me, and it is my AVH brow powder. This was just like the never-ending, never-dying brow powder. I had repressed this before I even added this to the project this year, and same with like the primer that I talked about, a little goes a long way for me, and I really wasn't digging that much into it. But I think, again, once you kind of get to the end of a product and it's such a thin layer, it just was like one day, it was like last week, all of a sudden, I was, you know, I just do a light, like little tap, tap, and then that's all I use. And I did that. And then at the end, I was like, oh my gosh, I think there's only like a couple days worth of this left. And that was the case. So this is totally empty. This has been in my collection for so long. I mean, look at the packaging on the back. Like, it's just so old. But as I've said a million times before, I definitely think this is worth the money. I think this is like $20 or $25. This lasted me years. I mean, I used it on and off, but I mean, I added this into my project pan in January, and it was already like maybe like 60% used at that point, and it still took me almost an entire year to use up the remaining products. So like, I think it's a good value for your money. And I think right now, I'm not going to repurchase this exact one or another brow powder. I've been using the powder for so long that I'm kind of ready to switch to maybe a different formulation, maybe a cream product, or maybe just focusing on using, you know, the brow gels, the colored brow gels. I have a couple of those in my collection. So I might focus on using those and see what I think looks better on me before deciding to purchase another brow powder. So that is everything. So 3 items we still have in, 2 we've used up and we'll move out. So I went back and looked at my planning to pan list from the beginning of the year, and there are 4 things left on that list that I have not added to the project or finished up yet. So 2 of them I wanted to touch base on and kind of explain why, even though they were on my planning to pan list, I'm not going to add them to the project like exclusively. And the first is the Beauty Blender Bounce Foundation. I'm not going to add this to my project pan specifically because even though I said I was planning to pan, what I really wanted to do with this was just get more use out of it and decide if I liked it and wanted to keep it. So what I'm going to do with this is in my next Shop My Stash video, which I think is going to be in a couple weeks, I'm just going to put this into my everyday drawer and then kind of, you know, almost exclusively use this foundation for the rest of the year. I think that will help me gather my thoughts. There's no pressure to actually use it up. And then if I find that, you know, I'm not really liking it, it might be a little too heavy, whatever it may be, then I can move it out and not feel as guilty about it because I gave it a fighting chance. Or at the end, if I find that I'm like, wow, I actually do really like this formula and this coverage and everything after using it consistently for like over a month, then I can keep it in my collection and then decide if I want to pan it in next year, like fully. So that's the story with that. Another item that I had on my planning to pan list was this NYX Butter Gloss in Strawberry Parfait. And I really don't think there's a lot left in here, but I did put this in my purse and was using it a little bit over the past couple months, and it kind of irritated my lips and like gave me some weird like breakouts around my lips, like bumps and stuff. So I think it's, I mean, I know this is super old. I don't even think they make this color anymore in the butter glosses. So unfortunately, I think it's just time to say goodbye to this. So I'm just going to declutter this, aka throw it away. So then That means that there are 2 more items left from that list, and those are the 2 items I'm going to move into the project to finish out the year with. So the first is my ColourPop highlighter in Lunch Money. I had some pan going on this at the beginning of the year already, and I've kind of just intermittently kept it in my everyday drawer throughout the year, and this is the progress I've made. The pan is much bigger than when I started. I don't think I'm gonna be able to fully pan it by the end of the year, but I just wanna like really focus on it and see what I can get through by the end of December. And then at that point, maybe in 2025, I could pan this super quickly. But I do love this color. I like a more champagne-y colored highlighter. I think it just goes better with my skin tone and any time of year. In the summer, I think it can make you look a little bronzier, in the winter a little glowier. So really enjoy this, and yeah, excited to just keep working on this and seeing more pan and progress. So we're gonna add this in to finish out the year with. And then last but not least is my final lip product and the last Bite branded item that I own, and it is this lip gloss in Sugar Drizzle, and it's a twist up like clicky one, so it's really easy to know that I'm going to get every little bit out of this because of the way the packaging works. And right now you can kind of see, so here's part of the packaging component. So the product really starts here. So we are in the middle of the E. So that's how I'm going to be doing this. I'm not going to be weighing this because if it's clear packaging, I can clearly see the progress I'm making and document it that way. So I do think this is something I could use up by the end of the year. Even though it looks like there's a lot in here, it really isn't that much. And we're getting into the holiday season, so I'm much more likely to be using a shimmery gloss on the regular. So I'm excited to add this in. I'm just gonna throw it in my purse, and that way I can reapply multiple times throughout the day as a way to kind of get more use out of this. So that is it for my update for October. 2 months left in the year. I've pretty much made it through most of my planning to pan list, so everything that's left is in the project pan, besides the foundation, which is going into my everyday makeup drawer. And yeah, that makes me really excited, and I feel accomplished actually working through the goal that I set at the beginning of the year. So yeah, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below if you're project panning any products and how that is going for you. And yeah, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified of all of my upcoming videos. Next week, I think I'm gonna do a little haul. I'm wearing a new foundation today from my recent haul, so I'm gonna talk about that and share that next week. So stay tuned for that, hit that notification bell, and I will see you all next time.